Hello viewers, my name is Zach Hardy and this is my preview video for WWE Money in the Bank 2015. Now I know I did a preview of this pay-per-view last year and I know it was, well, at least my review of it had at least over 100 views, so let's see if we can get the preview to be similar to the review from last year. Now I know this may be a little strange, having me do WWE reviews again, but hopefully the mood will lighten up and it'll come down to me doing a lot more previews and predictions for WWE pay-per-views and reviews for the pay-per-views and Raw sometimes maybe. But anyway, that's that. So thank you for watching. So let's get into the preview video. We're going to start with the pre-show match, which, to be honest, I'm probably not going to watch since I don't really watch the pre-show, so I may not be able to give a decent review on it, at least not a decent review when hopefully I go live for it after the pay-per-view. But the pre-show match is R-Truth versus Bad News Barrett. Now, I'm not going to call him King Barrett because it's really not a title that he needs, and it's probably a title that's kind of cursed him a bit now that he's falling into obscurity and he's just being lost and shuffled into the mid card and nobody's really paying attention to him anymore. So I'm not gonna call him King Barrett. I have him written down as that, just that's that way I wouldn't have to write Bad News Barrett out. But R-Truth versus Bad News Barrett. This match was put out this last night on Raw for some reason, and I wasn't really able to watch Raw last night. However, I do know, the key parts of what happened, considering I kept glancing over at the TV while doing my shit on my Xbox. But I guess R-Truth and King Barrett, or R-Truth and Bad News Barrett, I'm sorry, have I guess some sort of storyline feud or whatever. And since it is the match that's not going to be, or since it's going to be, or either since it's the least hyped match on the card, or because it doesn't have as much potential as every other match, that's why it's going to be on the pre-show. So I'm going to give you my prediction, and my prediction is that Bad News Barrett will beat R-Truth. The reason being is because for the past few years, R-Truth has just been falling into obscurity. Oh, I remember John Cena also buried R-Truth. So John Cena buried R-Truth as well, because I've been thinking in my head, who is John Cena buried? John Laurinaitis, he's buried the Nexus, he's buried Bray Wyatt, he's buried Rusev, he's buried well, of course now that I realize he's buried R-Truth now as well. He's buried so many other people. Since John Cena buried R-Truth, R-Truth is just fallen into obscurity. He's really nothing at this point. And I think they're trying to get Bad News Barrett to kind of get shuffled back up because they've let their guard down, or they're not guard down, but they've let their whole King Barrett idea down, and now he's nothing. Now that not just that he's nothing because of him being King Barrett now, but he's nothing because the WWE has not done anything with him. And I think they realize that. So hopefully they're smart enough to kind of put him over and give him the push that he should have, and the push that he really needs at this point. So my prediction: Bad News Barrett to win. Now we get into the main card, and the first match that I'm going to be previewing on the main card is the Intercontinental Championship match. And that is Ryback defending the Intercontinental Championship against The Big Show. Complaint that I have about this: for Ryback's first opponent defending the Intercontinental Championship against, why does it have to be The Big Show? Why not anybody else? Bray Wyatt could be a possibility, even though that wouldn't be a match that would really catch the eye of some people. But you could have had Ryback versus Bray Wyatt. You could have had Ryback versus I don't know, an NXT talent coming up maybe, or Neville. You could have had him. He could have had Ryback face. Well, let's see. What good heels are there? Can you really think of a good heel? And by good heel, I mean portrayed as a heel, or uses heel tactics, is booed by the fans, or disliked by the fans, and is very good at being a heel. Let's see. Rusev, injured. Seth Rollins, main event picture. The New Day, tag team picture. And for some reason, one other is in the Money in the Bank ladder match just for a monkey spot. I mean, The Miz. You could have had Ryback face The Miz. That would have been great. You could have had Ryback face Damian Sandow. You could have Ryback face Curtis Axel. You could have had any of them. Doesn't matter if they're a face versus face, rivalry. You could have a face versus face match here, and then pick a heel and have him attack Ryback after the match after Ryback retains. You could have done that. But here we go. We got Ryback and the Big Show. For some reason, the Big Show has been entered into this match, just because Big Show and Kane have to have something to do on the television because they're these legends. And I'm not gonna disagree. They are legends. It's just they're way past their prime. Big Show and Kane, I believe combined, their combined ages. I know they're over 80s, so I guess early 90s, maybe up to 100. I don't know. But I do know that their combined ages are in the 90s. So whatever. I mean, I've got Ryback to win this match. I don't see Ryback being a transitional champion, and one of the reasons why I don't see him being a transitional champion is because, I mean, you didn't have Dean Ambrose win the title at Elimination Chamber to drop the title at Money in the Bank. He won the match. But Seth Rollins got disqualified, so Seth Rollins got the title. They're not going to have a transitional champion for the WWE World Title, or they don't want to, then they shouldn't have it for the Intercontinental title either. Doesn't mean they can't do it, because the Intercontinental title can have a lot more leeway when it comes to defending or storylines than the WWE World Title, because it's a minor title. It's not as held up as the WWE title, so you can easily have a transitional champion for the Intercontinental title and not the WWE World Title. But you can also have that whole shuffle thing that they had with the Intercontinental title before WrestleMania. Can't do that with the WWE World Title. So I've got Ryback to win. I don't think he's going to be a transitional champion. I think they've got the title on him for a while. Could he be a transitional champion? I think he could, just because I don't think the WWE sees him as a main event player anymore, as they tried before and it didn't really work out. So I could see them doing that with Ryback as a transitional champion, but I doubt that they would do it. Since they wouldn't do it with the WWE World Title, I don't think they would do it with the Intercontinental title either, especially considering he's facing the Big Show. So Ryback to win that match. Next up is the Divas title. Nikki Bella defends the title against Paige, and as I wrote in the description, Nikki Bella presumably has Brie Bella in her corner as well. So it's a pretty simple match to predict. I think Nikki Bella is going to retain. I think the Bella twins are going to use some heel tactic, whether it's going to be that awful twin magic thing that doesn't work anymore, may I remind you, WWE, or they're going to have Brie Bella interfere by, punching Paige when she's on the ropes into a rack attack or something like that. But I think the Bella twins are going to be retaining, or at least Nikki Bella is going to be retaining the Divas title against Paige. And it's been brought to my attention that the WWE is trying to have Nikki Bella break AJ Lee's reign as the Divas champion. And I can believe that, just because A, she's the husband of CM Punk, and B, she probably left the WWE on a term we wouldn't really think of. We wouldn't really think AJ Lee left on bad terms with the WWE, but it's a very big possibility that she did, because her husband is CM Punk, and CM Punk was very mistreated by the WWE, was looked at as, or not as a main event player, was not really given a chance until he stepped up to the microphone. So her marrying CM Punk may have made her a push pin or push pin doll for the WWE. So that's probably why she left, which is why the WWE is trying to get Nikki Bella to break AJ Lee's reign or record, which is why I think Nikki Bella will retain over the past, next few months or years or whatever. Well, not years, next few months. So, and it's pretty obvious Nikki Bella is going to win. You got Brie Bella in her corner, and it's not like there's a big environment feel. It's not like Nikki Bella is facing Paige and Naomi and Tamina and whoever else in the locker room. She's facing Paige, and Paige doesn't have anyone in her corner. So it's pretty obvious that Nikki Bella is going to beat Paige and retain the title. Next match is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The New Day, and by the New Day I mean Xavier Woods and Big E, defend the WWE Tag Team Championships against the primetime players Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. I think this match will be great. And, of course, the New Day presumably will have Kofi Kingston in their corner. And it's pretty obvious the New Day is going to win. That's why my prediction is the New Day to win. But there are so many things that can make this match great. And that's just by, or that's not just by both teams putting on a great match, or both teams being on their A game, or both teams being hungry to become the tag team champions. But there's so many other things that could be great. And I'm not talking about a comment like Titus O'Neil is like Kobe Bryant in a hotel room in Colorado. He's unstoppable. Thank you, AW, for giving us that memorable line. But I'm not just talking about, on the microphone or anything. I'm talking about a great match and possibly continuing this rivalry by having the tag teams kind of get in each other's faces, kind of get on the microphone and make it a little bit more personal, get some feuds that, cause the entire locker room to take them apart, kind of like what USW did with Ezra Kills and Benny Franklin going up against Indigo Child and Chain Reaction for the USW Tag Team Championships going into Call of Greatness 10. But something like that can make the feud great. And in order to make the match great, by this point, you just need to have as much hype as you possibly could going into this match and have all four performers fight their hearts out. Now, why do I think the New Day will win? It's pretty obvious why I think they'll win. It's because Kofi Kingston will get involved. I mean, with the New Day, they're great heels. When they first debuted, it was like, all right, they're trying to be, the WWE's pushing them as a face, but they're definitely not going to get anywhere with this whole clapping thing. But then, the crowd starts turning on them with the New Day sucks chant, and then the WWE says, oh, we're going to turn them heel. So they start using these heel tactics. They become a heel tag team, and they keep this whole, clapping to not get annoyed or anything. But when the fans, crowd down on them with the New Day sucks chants, they go insane, and they do these heel things to prove to the fans that they rock. The New Day rocks. But it's pretty obvious that Kofi Kingston is going to get involved and cost the primetime players a match. Now, can the WWE throw us a curveball like they've done? Yes, they can. When the New Day fought Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, many people thought Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are going to win, but then they had the New Day win. They kind of threw us a curveball. So something like that can definitely happen with the primetime players. But I have a feeling that they're not going to let that happen to the New Day, especially not with this whole I guess this entire push and this entire great heel concept behind them. So I think the New Day is going to win again. Next up is the Money in the Bank ladder match. I saved the two best, at least the best match and the main event match for the last to preview. The Money in the Bank ladder match: Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston versus Kane versus Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus versus Adrian Neville or Neville. Now let's go in line as we did last year. Let's go in line as to why they can win or why they can't win. Roman Reigns, why he can win? Because he's really the only one who has a chance at winning the Money in the Bank. He's really the only one I think the WWE would push at this point. Randy Orton, I don't think he will win just because it's kind of, he'll be the odd man out if he wins. And I don't mean, what I mean by that is it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't do anything for Randy Orton. And he's won the world title so many times. He doesn't need the world title again. And I don't think they're going to put it on him again, at least not at this point in time. So that's why I don't think Randy Orton will win. Kofi Kingston, I don't think he will win. The reason being is because he's just going to be there for this monkey spot, whether it's climbing a ladder that's been broken in half, or doing a Jeff Hardy where he sits on the top of the ladder and uses the legs of the ladder to reach closer and closer to the briefcase. Kane, it's Kane. He's not going to get a world title match again. Dolph Ziggler, I don't think he's going to win because, I mean, come on. The WWE is not going to push Dolph Ziggler again, at least not for a while. I mean, you can see how they treated Dolph Ziggler over the past few years. The biggest title he's won was the World Heavyweight Championship, which is now defunct and has always been looked at as the second big championship in the WWE, or the number 2 title in the WWE. So I don't feel like they're going to have Dolph Ziggler win, at least not for a while. I don't think they're going to have him win the world title or the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for a while. Sheamus, he's a great heel. Oh, there's another great heel. Sheamus, I don't think he's going to win it because even though he's a great heel, I don't think he's going to be in line for a WWE title push just yet or around this time. I mean, I think he's got a much better chance at having a successful minor or mid-card run than he is a main card, or I'm sorry, main event run. I mean, he's got a better chance at a Intercontinental Championship run than he does a world title run, or a United States Championship run than a world title run. So, I mean, that could be the next opponent for Ryback. I wouldn't have any problem with that. And Adrian Neville, I don't think he's going to win. The reason being, he's very new to this main roster. He's a great high flyer, but Vince has never seen high flyers as main eventers. I mean, in the recent years, how many people, which high flyers have been WWE champion or world heavyweight champion? All right, let's think. Jeff Hardy from 2008 to 2009. Who else? Rey Mysterio won the world title a couple times. Shit. I would count Shawn Michaels as a technical wrestler, so not a high flyer. That's pretty much all I can think of. I'm dumbfounded for right now for some reason. I'm just focusing on previewing the match. But I don't think Vince has a very soft spot in his heart for high flyers unless the crowd is really on their side and won't let him live it down. Oh, Daniel Bryan. He's a technical wrestler, a submission wrestler, but he also could qualify for a very small part as a high flyer. No, never mind. He's not a high flyer. That's pretty much it. That's all I can think of. Yeah. I mean, and he's also very new, so I know they don't trust Neville at this point in time, especially considering they don't feel as him as, you know, the top guy. They don't figure him as one of the top guys in the WWE. And he won't be for a while. And he doesn't fit Vince's mold either. He's not a big jacked up powerhouse. He's not tall. He's not 6'4", or 6'5", or 6'3". He's what, 5'9", 5'10", around the same height as I am. And he doesn't weigh like what, 250 pounds like Vince would want. He weighs what, a measly 210, 220. He has great moves, and maybe one day he'll have a world title push, but I don't know. Oh, Seth Rollins. That's another good high flyer. But Roman Reigns, I'm going to predict him to win it because he's the only valuable asset to the WWE right now. And he's the only one that can really make sense to win the Money in the Bank, let's be honest. They might throw Bo Dallas in there. If they do, whoop-de-doo. If they don't, whatever. Bo Dallas is really directionless. He needs to have his NXT gimmick back. This Believe gimmick is no. He's a great heel when it comes to the Believe gimmick, but it's not getting him anywhere. So, and another problem I have with the Money in the Bank is why Kane? I get you have to have Kane do something, but why Kane? I understand that he only got added in this past Raw. And I know when the WWE ring announcers or the announcers from Elimination Chambers preview the Money in the Bank ladder match, they said this is not the official list. There can be people added in. I know they were talking about Kane now. But anyway, Reigns to win. Next match is going to be, hopefully will be, the match of the night. And it was the match of Elimination Chamber. And of course, as I've said numerous times, nothing is ever as good as the first time. Nothing. Your first world championship win is always better than your second championship win. Your first car is always better than your second car. Your first house is always better, is always a better feeling than your second house. The first time you have you can drink, I guess, is better than the other times you can drink. The first time you have sex is always better than the next times you have sex. May have the same feeling, but it's also the best experience, I guess. So why is it any different than the John Cena and Kevin Owens matches? Well, John Cena and Kevin Owens had a killer match at Elimination Chamber. It was the best match of the card. And this will probably be the best match of the card as well. It's not going to be as great because you've seen the match already, and it's not like the whole adrenaline is going for both of them. You don't know who's going to win, who's not going to win. And as much as I hate to admit it, we all have to be honest. John Cena is going to get his win back and Money in the Bank. I know that Vince is not going to have John Cena, or not going to let John Cena lose to Kevin Owens multiple times. Here's the problem I have with that. John Cena is the face of the WWE. Kevin Owens is a new star on the main roster. At least I'm pretty sure he's now on the main roster. At least until he loses the NXT Championship to Finn Balor in Japan, I think in a few weeks on NXT. But John Cena and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens needs these wins. John Cena does not. John Cena beating another performer more than once, whether it's the other performer winning once or twice or none or no times at all, John Cena buries them. Hello, Bray Wyatt. Hello, Rusev. My recent victims. How are you? What's up, guys? Oh, yeah, this ceiling is it's pretty hard, huh? Smashing your head against it really makes you fall down to the bottom, doesn't it? Yeah. That's John Cena's story of every performer he's buried. Or every group he's buried. John Cena does not need the win. If he loses to Kevin Owens 3 straight times, or 4 straight times, or 5 straight times, or once or twice, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 straight times, it doesn't fucking matter. He's always going to be the face of the WWE. He's always going to be considered a face of the WWE for the rest of his time as a full-time performer with the WWE. I don't see any reason why John Cena needs to beat Kevin Owens at all. Kevin Owens needs these wins. If he loses to John Cena, that's awful, because his whole character is a badass, is a dangerous man who, when he says something, he does it. He goes through on that promise, or he does what he says he's going to do, much like I am in real life. When I say something, I'm going to do it. When I promise that I'm going to do something, I make sure I go through on that promise. Kevin Owens, that's his character. He's a badass. He's a dangerous man who always goes through on what he says he's going to do, or always goes through on his promises. And in that order for that character to continue going on, Kevin Owens needs to beat John Cena. He needs to beat him whenever he says he is going to beat John Cena. And he needs to say he's going to beat John Cena every single time he fucking faces him. And then he needs to beat John Cena. John Cena, it doesn't matter if he loses. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to get his win back. He's always going to be the fucking face of the WWE. He's always going to be built by the WWE as the top, world heavyweight champion of all time, the best wrestler of all time. John Cena is going to be your face of the WWE no matter what. He can lose to The Rock. He can lose to Kevin Owens. He can lose fucking 24 straight times. He's always going to be the face of the WWE. That's never going to change. When it comes down to somebody... When it comes down... The fucking voicemail box will pick it up soon. But when it comes down to the WWE... and John Cena, if somebody needs the win over John Cena, they need to have that win. If John Cena is going to face somebody like Roman Reigns, fine. John Cena can beat Roman Reigns. If he's going to face somebody like Daniel Bryan, Fine, he can beat Daniel Bryan. I don't care. He's going to face somebody like The Rock. He can beat The Rock. I don't care. If it's somebody like Kevin Owens, if it's somebody like Rusev, if it's somebody like Bray Wyatt, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need the win. The other performer needs the win. Kevin Owens needs the win. John Cena needs to lose to Kevin Owens every single time he faces him. And Kevin Owens needs to make sure that he promises to beat John Cena and that he does beat John Cena every single time. Otherwise, Kevin Owens is going to be buried. For Kevin Owens, it's going to be as easy as that. His character is going to be gone. It's going to be done. Again, his character is a badass. He's a dangerous man. He's somebody who doesn't give a fuck about anybody else. He's somebody who plays mind games whenever he possibly can. And he goes through on what he says he's going to do. And if he says he's going to beat John Cena, he needs to beat John Cena. I hope you understand that. Even though my prediction, because the WWE is going to do this, they're going to have John Cena win. Plain and simple. Plain as day. And then they're going to face, once again, at what, Battleground or something? John Cena's going to win there. It's bullshit. Next up is the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and it's in a ladder match. Seth Rollins defends the championship against Dean Ambrose. This is pretty obvious. If they didn't have Dean Ambrose win at Elimination Chamber, he's not going to win at Money in the Bank, especially not when he's had the whole title for all this time. He's had the spotlight on him. They're going to rip that spotlight, especially if he's not the champion at that time. They're setting up for Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. And I believe Brock Lesnar is coming back on the 22nd edition of Raw, which is in just under 2 weeks. So Seth Rollins will face Brock Lesnar sooner or later. Brock Lesnar will return soon, and they're going to have Seth Rollins win to set up Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. It's as simple as that. And it's confusing me because I'm not sure whether or not Seth Rollins is going to beat Brock Lesnar or not. That's a whole topic for some time else. Excuse me, for some other time. But Seth Rollins, it's all crumbling down for him. Seth Rollins, I mean, look at this. He just lost J&J Security. He's probably losing the Authority next. What else can Seth Rollins do in order to get back everything he's worked for? And this is not going to bury him. He's always going to be a great character. What is there a possibility for? All right? Here's the only way I can see Dean Ambrose winning. Dean Ambrose wins. Roman Reigns cashes in the Money in the Bank on Dean Ambrose, turns heel, joins the Authority. Seth Rollins gets kicked out of the Authority. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose reunite and try to take down Roman Reigns because he stabbed them both in the back. That's the only way I can see Dean Ambrose winning, because that's when they set up Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Or Seth Rollins can beat Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns can cash in on Seth Rollins. And then Roman Reigns faces Brock Lesnar. However, it worked better. It worked more interesting and work out more. It worked out more understandably, or it'd be easier or much more understandable for Reigns to cash in on Ambrose, because then Rollins doesn't really have a rematch clause. And at the same time, Dean Ambrose loses Roman Reigns. So then it can go either way. Roman Reigns turns on Ambrose, and then Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns go in their separate ways, or Ambrose teams up with Rollins and takes down Reigns. And then Roman Reigns loses the title, and then sooner or later, by the end of the year, the Shield reunites. And hopefully whenever the Shield does reunite, whether it's at the end of the year or whenever, hopefully they reunite for a long time. It's not just like the Evolution for a few months. It's, what they were around for, what, 2 years, 3 years, maybe. However long they were, they need to stay like that for a while again. That's my only thing. But other than that, Rollins is going to win. He's going to retain. That's the way I see it. So that's my preview for Money in the Bank 2015. I hope you enjoyed. I know it's not as great as the other videos I've done, but I'm continuing to try to do this whole live thing, so that's what I'm going to do. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy. I will see you for my Money in the Bank 2015 review, the night of Money in the Bank. So thank you for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy signing off.